He is the host of PBS's Wild Chicago. Please welcome Will Klinger.
Egg White Redding was a bad influence on me as a kid. He was probably my best friend from 3rd grade to 8th grade when his family moved out of town. He got his name from Mr. Coach Randis at DeFreeze Playground, who during a pickup baseball game said to Greg Redding, "Your hair is the color of egg whites." It stuck. And it was sort of true. I mean, his hair was so blonde, it was almost white. In fact, when you added that to the insolent look on his face that usually was there, you could sense trouble almost immediately. I'm fairly sure that J.K. Rowling based the character of Draco Malfoy on Egg White Redding. That guy looked like trouble. Egg White didn't even live on a street or an avenue. He lived on an alley. His actual address was number 12 Rankin Alley. This was from where he held sway over the infamous Rankin Alley gang. I lived on Poplar Street. But that didn't prevent me from being his right-hand man, his consigliere, if you will, by his side for any manner of neighborhood hijinks, which usually consisted of, roaming the streets of Warren, Pennsylvania late at night after hours when our parents thought we were to sleep over, or TPing our enemies' houses with toilet paper. But when Egg White proposed the Kresge's department store heist, we were entering uncharted territory. He and I were now in 5th grade, and graduating to an actual punishable crime seemed premature. But his plan was perfect. I would slip the new Beach Boys album under my shirt while he kept watch. Brilliant, right? Well, it worked like a charm. I put this big LP under my t-shirt, and on a 4'11" skinny-ass kid, it's hard to miss this big square thing. You'd think but maybe people thought I was wearing a huge square body brace. I'm not sure, but we managed to get out the front door and all the way back to Rankin Alley, unimpeded, unarrested. It's a tribute to Egg White Redding's leadership skills that he was able to convince me that the Beach Boys album should, despite the fact that I had taken most of the risk for this thing, the Beach Boys album should reside at his house, specifically under the mattress of his bed. To our 5th grade minds, this seemed like the perfect hiding place. But what we hadn't taken into account is that perhaps Egg White's mother might eventually want to change the sheets on his bed, at which point she immediately discovered the Beach Boys album there and confronted him about where he got it. Well, suffice it to say, the code of silence currently being practiced by the Chicago Police Department did not hold sway in Rankin Alley. Egg White immediately copped to the crime and ratted me out. Egg White's parents were very soon on the phone with my parents, who were very soon in my room with me. My mother spoke first. "How could you? You make me regret I ever had boys." Which was harsh to hear. But what my father said next was louder than a mom. I worked in the title. "I'm disappointed in you." Yeah, I was his namesake. It was hard to hear. Well, eventually both parents decided that Egg White and I should go down to Kresge's, march down there return the album with our profuse apologies. My dad took it one step further for me. I was to, sometime soon, go down to the Warren County Jail and take a tour of the facilities, presumably to be scared straight. Do you remember this the documentary Scared Straight, where they usher these juvenile delinquents into a state prison, and the inmates there give them a taste of what they're in for if they ever end up there, Well, the day came when I was to go down to the Warren County Jail. And so I went out into the rain in my yellow slicker with the hat that went down to your shoulders. I looked like the Gordon's fisherman if somebody dropped an anvil on his head. So I get to the front door. It opens, and the sheriff says, "You the Klinger boy?" Ushers me in, back to the jail cells, and of course I'm fully expecting to be confronted by a bunch of muscle-bound bald guys with swastikas tattooed to their faces, shouting, "You end up in here, you're gonna be my bitch! Bitch!" But instead, I'm just confronted with there's an old drunk curled up in the corner of the cell, and the only thing he says is, "Who's the kid?" Well, I don't know if it was my brush with the correctional system, or the disappointment on my parents' faces, or the fact that Egg White and his family moved away from town 2 years later, but I didn't end up pursuing a life of crime. Egg White, however, he wound up being dishonorably discharged from the Navy and fathering 3 children out of wedlock. I mean, he was apparently making his bed and sleeping in it a lot. But when you come right down to it, I worked in 2 titles, and it's pretty short. When you come right down to it, I think if Egg White had stayed in Warren, Pennsylvania, I would be doing hard time right now. Bitch.